Well, good evening and welcome to Channel 8 Sports and East Brunswick High School football. Hi, I'm John Meggiolaro with Jim Allinder and Phil Hill for tonight's East Brunswick-Madison Central game. And Phil, let me start with you on the East Brunswick side. You're covering them tonight. It can't be a very good prospect looking at Madison Central, particularly after their loss last week, and given the fact that they had a rough time at Edison.
The Bears had a very rough time in Edison. They played Edison in a downpour. Edison pushed them all over the field, quite frankly. Final score 27-6. I talked to Marcus. He has had a very tough week this week of practice. Quite frankly, wasn't a good week of practice. One day ended rather abruptly with frustration on everybody's part. But they got to play. And with Madison Central, it is one of their rivalries, and he's hoping for a good game tonight. He's made some moves. The big thing with the Bears is that everybody they play this year is going to be a lot larger than they are. Jim's going to talk about Madison Central averaging 245 pounds, and you just can't go up against large teams like that averaging about 200 pounds yourself. It just makes for a difficult night. So he's moved some of his beefy players, the few that he has, on the line, hoping to stop that initial thrust of that wishbone. If he can do that, then he can force them to pitch the ball. And, you know, once you pitch the ball, anything can happen. So he's hoping to force them into some mistakes.
Phil, we understand that Jim Varick will only be used in kicking situations. That's got to hurt East Brunswick.
It's got to hurt Jim. It's got to hurt everyone. The fact of the matter is Varick is, as I said last week, the most valuable player for the Bears. He's the best offensive player, best defensive player, and the best special team player. And when you have someone of his caliber out, it's puts you at a total disadvantage. The Bears are going to have to come together as a team, and I think that's what Marcus is looking for, the players to come together as a team. He wants them to be a little more nastier. He wants them to fight a little bit more. They have some talent out there, but they got to believe in themselves, and they got to be ready to push some other people around regardless of their size.
So what you're saying then, while you always want to win, Marcus is looking for some additional items in this game.
Quite frankly, what he's saying is, that, you know, the coaches can do only so much motivation. The players have to do some of that themselves. You got to have some leaders that develop on the field there. That makes a big difference. Once you start losing, a week of practice is tough anyway. And we know now that they're looking at a very difficult schedule. I just wonder myself whether Marcus is going to do like Bob DeMarco did in 1990 when he had that 1-8 year. He played mostly sophomores. Some people criticized him and said that he was giving up on the team. But if your team's not going anywhere, do you want to get the younger players some experience? Will Marcus do that? That's a question I'm sure people will be asking pretty soon.
Well, certainly we want to look out there tonight and see if there's any sparks coming from the team or the coaching staff, but something needs to happen for this East Brunswick team to kind of get on track. They're much better than what we've seen, particularly in that Edison game.
Well, I'll tell you, what they're going to have to do is throw that ball around. Do like they did against Edison last year. Put the ball in the air. Madison Central does have some young defensive backs. Perhaps they can take advantage of that. But Habib's going to have to roll out and avoid the tremendous rush that Madison Central is going to place on them.
Jimmy, Madison Central, we move over to them, and one thing is for sure, they can be beaten this year.
Well, I'm not so sure. I think the question everybody was asking before the season was how good was Madison? And I think everybody agreed, and myself included, that this was clearly the best team in the Greater Middlesex Conference. Some people were even put them up in the state rankings. So characteristically, they go out and pound Perth Amboy 33-8 in their opening game, and we all said, "See, we told you so." So they come up against Woodbridge last Friday night in the horrendous conditions that Phil was talking about, and they get beat 21-7. And I was shocked. I really was. I have to tell you, I was not at the game, but to hear from other people, they tell me that a secondary that Madison Central has, kind of like their Achilles heel, came into play, and the quarterback for Woodbridge, Joe Kirk, we're going to see him, really had a field day, even in the rainy conditions. So recognizing that, Madison Central may not be the great team that everybody thought they would. I'm not so sure. I think Bob DeMarco, their veteran coach, is too good to not allow something like this to continue. I think he is one of the best at making adjustments, and he will put in his good athletes, and he does have a lot of them, in anticipation of an aerial game from East Brunswick. I think you're going to see that tonight against Madison.
Jimmy, characteristically, Madison Central was kind of the ground DeMarco approach. You know, keep it on the ground, keep it on the ground, and they would wear you down, beat you up, fresh backs coming in all the time. They've changed up a little bit this year.
They have, but that's not to say that they have relinquished that game altogether. I think as when push comes to shove, I'm not so sure that this will be a push come to shove situation tonight. They will resort to that that wishbone that has become very, very famous. Ricky Arneo is their quarterback. He's a senior now. Very adept at the pitch, the read and the pitch that you need to be in order for the wishbone to work. He does have a great back in Ron Atlack, who is one of the speediest in the area. He has good receivers, and he has a line working for him that averages 240 pounds. And on the defensive side of the ball, you've got just the same players playing. If their secondary holds up, then you're going to see a Madison Central victory tonight.
All right, so it's East Brunswick, Madison Central. We'll be back with the opening kickoff in just a moment. We welcome you back to the start of this East Brunswick High School Madison Central game here at J. Doyle Field. Very comfortable evening. Madison Central in the visitors' white, East Brunswick in their home green. East Brunswick will be kicking off to the Spartans, and thus will be on defense first.
Well, it'd be interesting to see who will be kicking off the ball.
Well, I can tell you that Ron Atlack will be deep for Madison Central. He is a real speedster. Has good size, too. He's close to 200 pounds.
Okay, and we see it is Jim Varick who will do the kickoff. As we pointed out at the top of the game, he has a stress fracture in his left foot, but nevertheless, he will be kicking, and kicking is the only thing I understand that he will be doing tonight.
And Chad Maldonado, number 7, will also be deep back for Madison Central, John.
And we're about ready to get this game underway. Varick will boot it off. And here we go. It'll be Atlack. No, and it bounces off to Maldonado at about the 8. And he gets up around the 30-yard line, his own 30, and then Madison Central will go on offense.
Now, something key to watch is the line play. We had mentioned that Madison has the decided edge on the offensive line, and let's see if the Spartans try to take advantage of that.
Well, you mentioned the size of this team, Jim, and averaging 240 pounds.
That's an average.
Well, you notice some of the changes. Jeremy Fisher in there for the Bears, some beef, Dan Michalski, Mike Kritzkowski, and Ken Molina up front.
Spartans from that wishbone formation. Arneo hands off to number 32, and that is Marco Coelho.
Marco Coelho just moved back from tight end to fullback just this week. Bob DeMarco felt he had to make some changes after the Woodbridge game, and that's one of the changes. Coelho is 6 feet, 205 pounds.
And also one of the best, also the best defensive player for Madison Central.
He picks up a first down ball at their own 44, Madison Central. Straight dive play. That was Atlack on the carry.
And I tell you, Marcus talked about what he wanted to do. One of the reasons for switching personnel is to stop that initial dive. He wanted to stop them, the initial dive into the line and force them to pitch. But as you can see, already they're picking up good yardage despite the personnel change.
7-yard pickup. 2nd and 3, ball across midfield in East Brunswick territory. Spartans stay in the wishbone formation. Coelho on the carry, he's got the first down as he moves to the East Brunswick 42-yard line.
And Phil, nothing fancy here. They're just blowing them out.
They're just blowing them out. We knew Madison Central would come in with a vengeance after that big loss to Woodbridge. They're taking it right to the Bears. Nothing fancy. The way they're going, they may not even go to the pitch on this drive. They seem to be just going straight down the field.
1st and 10 for the Spartans. Ball on East Brunswick 43. Ball inside again, and Atlack being pushed back. But they'll give him a pickup of about 3 yards. So it'll bring up 2nd down.
As we had mentioned, the center for Madison Central, Jack McKiernan, 6'3", 260 pounds, and a consensus All-State player from last year.
They gave Atlack about 4 yards, so it's 2nd and 6. Madison Central keeping it on the ground. Atlack again, he's got the first down and more. He's still on his feet. And he's down at the 25-yard line.
Welcome to the Red Division, Chris Hendricks.
Chris Hendricks, Atlack just ran him over like a freight train, and I tell you, Atlack is, we knew he's a devastating blocker, but just a hard-nosed player and taking it up there. One of the reasons, again, that he was switched to that tailback spot. They wanted to take advantage of his speed, but he's only been used like a fullback thus far tonight.
Well, East Brunswick calls a timeout. They need to get organized on defense.
Well, just to go over that offensive line for Madison Central, if we can, we had mentioned that Jason Peterson is one of the guards, along with Marney, Daniel Marney. Daniel Marney is 6 foot 245. Jason Peterson is 6'1", 260. McKiernan, we had mentioned, is 6'3", 260, 65. I'll check that. Let's see. Toby Metzger, one of the tackles, 6'1", 240. And 53, Jeff Andrzejewicz, excuse me, 6 foot 220. He's the light man on that line. So if there's any wonder why Madison is doing the job right up the middle, that's it.
Jimmy, from what you know of Woodbridge, did they match up well with Madison Central?
Yes,
size?
they did. Yes, they did. Yes, Woodbridge always produces strong people, big people up front. That's never been their problem. They always used to like to grind it out. However, they got a quarterback this year.
All right, 1st and 10 for Madison Central at the East Brunswick 25. First quarter action, no score. Madison Central has been on the move. Arneo is going to drop back, puts it in the air. Looking for Atlack. Atlack, he's got him, touchdown.
That's Jeff Herbert.
Oh, I'm sorry, Herbert.
Jeff Herbert, the tight end.
Number 11.
And I tell you, gentlemen, it's going to be a long night. The Spartans easily could have kept driving down the field. Kept hitting the middle of that line and just went back through a pass and hit the receiver. They look like they got many options.
Sarneo to Atlack, 25 yards for the score with 9:27 left in the first quarter. Here's the extra point, Herbert. And he's wide to the right, so it's 6-0 Madison Central.
And that's surprising because Jeff Herbert is one of the more accomplished kickers in the GMC. And for him to be off on that, that's a little unusual. But I think he'll settle for the touchdown.
Jim and John, you're talking about Woodbridge and the size that Woodbridge has. The question has to come to mind. The Bears themselves and whatnot, for the past few years, they've been undersized. We've sort of overlooked it because they've had players like Jay Adosho, Spirited, that made up the difference. But the fact of the matter is they're a Group 4 school, and they don't have the size to match up with even teams like South River averages about 240 across the front line with players. And you got to wonder, a Group 4 school with 1,600 boys, where's the beef? That's the question.
Where's the beef?
Well, I think it's a question that's always remained here at East Brunswick, or has been for years, given the size of it. If you look at teams in the past, were never big teams. On occasion, you would get a few linemen, but that's not an unusual phenomenon here. Anyway, Herbert will kick it off. Good kick. This will be Phillips.
As I mentioned,
and he's not going to run it out.
As I mentioned, Herbert's one of the more accomplished kickers in this conference. He puts it every time into the end zone. And certainly with the rule being in high school, when you kick it in the end zone, you move it to the 20. That's a weapon.
All right, East Brunswick will go on offense.
And the Bears got to get something going. I know it's just the first series, and I'm saying they got to get something going. But they got to get this Madison Central defense off balance. And as you see, they're spread all over the place.
Well, watch for the passing game tonight.
Habib is the quarterback. Phillips in the backfield. He'll take the pitch, go around the right side. He's got a hole and picks up good yardage.
And I tell you, an awfully good way to start the game. They got to be able to run the ball as well as pass the ball. Phillips is the single back in the backfield now with Varick being hurt. And Marcus's game plan is simply to run the ball when he can, try to force him out of that 5-2 that they play into a 4-3.
Pickup of 8, 2nd and 2 from the 28. Habib quickly to the outside and throws it over the head of his intended receiver.
And Habib just rushed that. He's got to settle down. Everything starts with the quarterback. If the quarterback's cool and calm, it carries over to the rest of the team.
Exactly so. I don't know why they're moving the stick back. Why are...
I think there's a spot problem. Whoa.
What is going on here? They just moved the ball back 5 yards for no reason. It's just an error on the spot.
You're right, Jim. No one has even picked it up for East Brunswick.
Oh, wow.
They look over the middle to Szymanski.
And I'll tell you, that hurts. That's just...
Look, and I don't think Borden even knows this.
No one's picked it up.
Habib right on the money with the pass there. Szymanski not looking and did not catch the ball. He was open.
Well, you know, we were critical of the officiating the last time we were on here, and I know for a fact, I talked to a couple of writers after the game on that play where Varick was caught on the 30-yard line. He did, in fact, make it.
Here's Varick on the punt, low punt. It's going to bounce, and Madison Central is going to let it roll and die. So the ball will be down at about the 22-yard line on the Madison Central side of the field.
Well, here we go again.
Well, East Brunswick 3 and out, and they turn the ball over to Madison Central.
Well, Phil mentioned they started off very well, but that pass, just a normal pass,
right,
just didn't connect.
Those
are the type of things that can happen.
They got to be in control, and they got to play a complete game to stay in this game.
Wishbone formation. Arneo keeps. He's going to turn it upfield. Stays on his feet and is close to the first down.
Boy, and what a nice run by Rick Arneo. He took the read on there, decided to take it himself, and he did a very mature thing, Phil. I don't know whether you noticed. He knew he was going to get hit. He just tucked that ball right underneath himself, and he got the yardage.
It's a smart thing.
And he picks up the first down, so Madison Central continues with their explosive ground game. Ball on the Spartan 33, 1st and 10. 6-0, Madison Central on top. Inside handoff, Coelho.
And Chris Hendricks better stop hitting people head on and try to take their legs out from under him instead. He's getting bowled over every time. I give the guy a credit for trying, though.
For being in there, young guy, but you're right. Madison looks awfully powerful right now.
2nd and about 2. Ball at the 42-yard line for the Spartans. Inside, Coelho again. He's got the first down. Crosses the 45 to about the 47.
You know, if Madison Central chooses to move the ball this way, they're going to run up a lot of first down yardage tonight.
And the clock will really keep moving.
Well, let's just hope they keep it on the ground, because it appears that they can do what they want. At least if they're keeping it on the ground, they're eating up time as well.
1st and 10. Arneo keeps, steps inside. There's the gap. There's no one to get him. It's a foot race. And he's inside the 20-yard line.
Well, the secondary bit on that pitch, they thought the ball was being handed off inside. But again, the versatility of the wishbone offense.
They're calling fumble, and East Brunswick comes up with it.
Oh, wow.
I'll tell you, a big break.
They needed it, too. East Brunswick really needed it.
A big break for the Bears. The Bears have to do something, at least to control that ball longer than 3 plays.
So the Bears on the turnover will have it 1st and 10.
And I confess I did not pay attention to that, and thus I didn't see who recovered it.
I didn't see who came up with it. I think it was Greg Kohlheim, but I'm not sure. Anyway, East Brunswick come out in that single back set. 2 receivers to the right. This is Phillips. He high steps it.
And Madison just played with 10 men on defense there. And here comes number 11.
I'll tell you, I like the way Phillips hit that hole that time. He's been tipping in the past, but he seems to be running a lot harder right now.
Yeah, Phil, we did mention that we thought that Phillips would be more effective if he could just put his shoulders forward and just use the power that he has.
He's got to be aggressive. He's got a big frame. He's got to be tough.
Phillips picks up 5. It's 2nd and 5. Ball at the East Brunswick 17. Habib looks over the middle again and throws it away from Matthews.
See, that the telegraphing that the quarterback does is something that you can't afford to do against a team like Madison Central, especially their linebackers. They're very experienced, very sharp. Marco Coelho, I mentioned, is probably their best defensive player. Saw that in Habib's eyes, and thus he was able to make the deflection.
Third down and 5 for the Bears. They trail. Habib drops straight back. Sets a center screen up, and it's dropped. Ball intended for, I believe, Szymanski.
Right, and it was well covered, even if Szymanski had caught that.
Well, that's reminiscent of the first game. Szymanski had a screen up, a pass that you got to catch. Right. A pass that you got to catch to keep things going. And again,
not sure that ball was tipped. There's a timeout, John.
Timeout by Madison Central, so each team has taken a timeout here in the first quarter.
Right. So the flow of this game in Madison Central's favor decidedly. A little alarming. I don't think East Brunswick is still comfortable with their offense. They really haven't been all season long, let's be honest, guys. I don't know. I think Borden may be looking for a different combination if things don't settle down pretty soon. They may have to.
Well, we talked about it. We talked about playing younger players, and we don't mean to be bailing out on the players, but I talked to him, and he was as frustrated as I've ever heard Marcus Borden sound. And clearly one can understand why. They're getting pushed all over the place, and things don't seem to be able to get much better down the road. Perhaps it all comes down to the talent of the players.
They'll bring up a fourth down. Varick is back to punt.
All right, that's all he can do with that stress fracture.
Standing on his own 5, low snap, gets it away, a low kick again. It's going to be fielded this time,
okay.
And Atlack is dropped immediately, but Madison Central will have excellent field position.
And Marty Lucarelli down there with an all-important tackle. Marty was in on a lot of tackles against Edison last week, but that's a bad sign, of course.
And you don't want to make an excuse for East Brunswick, but you can't say enough that not having Jim Varick in there offensively as well as defensively hurts a lot. I mean, I think you guys agree, is the best player on the team.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
And they use him a lot.
All right, the Spartans with a 6-0 lead, bring it out, 1st and 10 from their own 49-yard line. Arneo gives it to Coelho, and the holes are there as he falls forward to the East Brunswick 40 and a first down.
Yeah, where it's spotted, it should be close. They might have to measure this, John.
They're saying his knee touched just shy of the 40-yard line. And they're going to say it's 2nd down.
And Marcus talked about wanting to force this team to pitch. Of course, there hasn't been a pitch in this game. There's been a quarterback keeping it around the end, but no pitch. So.
And at this point, we're looking for the East Brunswick line just to stop them at the line of scrimmage one time.
2nd and inches. Arneo keeps it, a little quarterback counter there, if you will, and gets the first down as he falls to the East Brunswick 35.
I don't know if that was a counter or a broken play.
It was a split decision on the quarterback, Phil. Arneo did have an opportunity to call his own number there. That's a call that Madison uses more than once.
Just a little spin move, and he took it up the middle for the first down. And the ball's sitting at the East Brunswick 35, 4:25 remaining first quarter. Bears trail 6-0. Arneo gives it. No, he keeps it.
Whoa!
And then pitches it.
Maldonado, I'm sorry, that is Maldonado.
Number 7, Maldonado, they're going to call that a
forward lateral.
Yeah, I was going to say that Maldonado was about 3 yards ahead of Arneo.
I'll tell you, be that as it may, but you see the speed that this team has.
And the maturity that the quarterback has, too.
Well, they'll bring it all back.
In reality, that pitch being in the grasp of an East Brunswick tackler is not unlike what happens in a wishbone option. So it looks like they're going to bring it back, what, 5 yards here?
It'll bring up a 2nd down. And officials timeout. Ball now will be spotted at the East Brunswick 37.
Chad Maldonado, a 5'10", 165-pound senior. Now, this was a guy, well, I'll talk about him in a second.
Inside handoff once again for the Spartans.
And they finally stop him.
They stopped him after 2 yards, Jim.
Yeah. Just to go back to Maldonado, as a sophomore, this was a very, very talented player from Madison Central, and then he broke his ankle last year. He missed his entire junior year.
Wow.
So when I talked to Bob DeMarco, he mentioned that Maldonado would be one of the frequent running backs. I said, why? I said, just wait, and I think we're going to see.
Well, he's in the backfield. He's number 7. Arneo calling signals. 3rd down. He's going to drop back to pass. Being pressured. Takes it up the middle. And he'll be way short of the 1st down.
I suspect they'll go for it here.
And Jeremy Fisher in on that tackle there.
It'll bring up 4th and about, let's say 3. Ball resting at the East Brunswick 27-yard line.
Boy, it would be really good to see the Bears hold here. I think they're looking for anything to grasp, just to see if they can just stop this momentum again.
Inside of 3 minutes left, 1st quarter. Bears trailing 6-0. Arneo gives to Coelho, and I think he's got it.
Yeah, all he had to do was get over the 25-yard line. Conservative play, but why not? They've been showing that they can get a lot of yardage.
They're picking up yardage. And,
they're going to measure. So they'll bring the chains across the field. That'll stop the clock with 2:45 remaining.
He's got this by at least the length of the football.
And it is 1st down, Madison Central. Gentlemen, that defense has been on the field a long time this 1st quarter.
A long time, and they're trying to play tough, but they're just overmatched.
Arneo gives inside to Atlack. Atlack just bowling over tacklers, drops the ball, but he falls on top of it. And so with the 1st down, Madison Central will keep possession.
And there's your friend Chris again, in on the tackle, but holding on for dear life.
Well, I think he's going to have an opportunity to view the videotape on this and may get a lesson on not trying to match another player who overpowers him, because I think if he took the lower route, he probably would be able to save a couple of yards.
Well, he sees the body coming to the opening, and he's putting his nose in there. That's the thing. So let's give him some credit for that.
1st and 10 from the East Brunswick 13. Arneo has the corner and has the touchdown.
This is a great play by Arneo. He had the entire inside of East Brunswick's line fooled on that.
I'll tell you, I asked Bob DeMarco about Rick Arneo. He said, quite frankly, he's somewhere a little below Eddie Walsh and a little above Donnelly as a quarterback. He says he's quite a technician, a heady kid, and very strong.
Herbert will come on for the extra point. That makes it right now our score 12-0.
Why is 7 on the scoreboard?
I don't know. And it looks like they're going to go for 2. And they are.
And Coelho. Right
Coelho's in, and I don't understand the rationale behind that.
Well, they had missed the extra point on the 1st touchdown, John, so they want to bring it up to 14, obviously.
So DeMarco likes even numbers, and so he gets even numbers.
It's just smart football, that's all. You never know what can happen in this game.
1:44 remaining on our clock, 1st quarter action, and the Spartans are out on top, 14-0.
And gentlemen, as you take a look at the Bears huddled right there, and this game here against Madison Central is a little earlier in the year than we're used to it. We're used to it around Halloween time, but you can't help but look out on that field there and think about some of the great players that have played for both of these teams. And I tell you, it's a joy on Sundays on New Jersey television, I believe it is, to see Trenton State. And you got Eddie Walsh and Mark Harmon in this, playing on the same team, and a kid by the name of Brian Ndola from South River. And it's just nice to see local kids doing so well together.
All right, Herbert to kick it off. Again, Phillips, he's going to field the ball on the 1 yard line. And is dropped just shy of the 20.
That was number 33, Vaughn Scott, one of those linebackers for Madison Central that like to hit.
So the Bears, with poor field position, they've not really been beyond their own 20 to start a drive, are trailing 14-0.
Madison content to stay in that 5-2 defense. 52.
Carry the time by number 32 for East Brunswick. That's Eric Phillips.
And I'll tell you, another good run by Eric Phillips.
He's had 2 good runs of 9 and 5 yards. Now this one right here goes for about 7.
2nd and 3. The ball up to the East Brunswick 27-yard line. Habib quickly to Phillips, right side. Phillips dropped out of bounds.
And I think East Brunswick has its first down tonight, John.
And I think you're right, Jim. They'll move the sticks.
Okay, it'd be nice if someone other than us recognize it. It'd be nice if the fans sort of gave him a hand on that.
We have a timeout here on the field by Madison Central. They're second, 54 seconds remaining first quarter. They're on top 14-0. And with the timeout, I just want to take a moment and, for everyone here at Channel 8, express our best wishes to Lou Cosa, who was sidelined about a week and a half ago. I understand that Lou is resting more comfortably in his hospital room, doing much better, and certainly we send our best to him, one of the true gentlemen and one of the fantastic teachers, and I speak from personal experience on that side, that anyone could ever come to know. So Lou, if you get a chance to see this, or if your family, we hope you're doing better, and we look forward to seeing you on the sidelines in the near future.
Super Lou, we wish you well, we really do.
You betcha. He'll be back.
All right, the Bears have it 1st and 10 at their own 33. They pick up their first down. Habib, short drop, looking. He's going to put it up in the air. He's got a man. He's got a completion. Ball was caught by number 14, Kohlheim.
Boy, that was a pretty pass.
A beautiful timing pattern. Habib might have been the nicest thing we've seen him do this year.
Really?
He just laid it up there. Kohlheim showing good speed and ran right under it. Certainly caught Madison Central by surprise. They do have those young defenders back there in the defensive backfield, and if you're going to hurt them, that's where you're going to have to hit them.
First down, East Brunswick on the Madison Central 23. Phillips, left side, trying to get around the corner. And he'll be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
And the Spartan defense strung it out nicely. Pushed him all the way to the sidelines, nowhere to go. Ran 20 yards, but picked up nothing.
And they're going to say he lost the yard, so we'll call it 2nd and about 11.
That 46-yard reception was the first completion for Habib tonight.
Single back formation. Habib fakes to Phillips, rolls to his right. He's got some room, he's looking. And he throws right in the hands of a Madison Central player. Rafferty picks it off.
Wow.
Keith Rafferty, just a junior, 5'11", 170, and you're right. I think he just was a little off on the intended receiver.
Not quite sure where he's throwing. I think Kohlheim was down there somewhere, but certainly not in that area.
And a good drive goes for naught here.
And that'll end the first quarter action here from J. Doyle Field. The Bears trailing Madison Central 14-0.
Guys, we've got a situation here where Madison Central is pretty much doing what it wants to. I think we'd have to agree that if East Brunswick's going to be able to move the ball, they're going to have to do it through the air.
They're going to have to do it through the air, no doubt about it. But they got to be sure passes. I think they got to go with the short one, set them up, and hope to get something like they did with Kohlheim.
Meanwhile, they haven't been able to really stop Madison Central all night on the ground. Nothing fancy. It's it's that execution by Ricky Arneo, the quarterback for Madison, that really has them baffled. You know, it's one thing to have a good wishbone offense, but it's another thing to execute it well, and I think Arneo is really one of the better ones that we've seen.
Well, you have to give a lot of credit to Bob DeMarco and his staff. As you said, Phil, in the pregame, I mean, 2 years ago, they were ready to run him out on a rail.
I didn't say that. But,
I'm saying that.
They were.
And he knew what he was doing. He gave a lot of youngsters playing time, let him learn the skills and the position in game action, and it's paid off.
I can personally attest to that. I mean, even DeMarco was questioning himself.
And we get back to the action. Madison Central stays on the ground. That's Kaleo. And then he'll pick up about 4 yards. We'll call it 2nd and 6.
Marty Lucarelli coming up from his defensive back spot, making that tackle.
Ball sitting at the Madison Central 34-yard line. Arneo keeps and is dropped right at the line of scrimmage, so it'll bring up 3rd down.
And Jim, can you tell me who usually is given credit for developing this wishbone attack?
For developing the wishbone attack.
For originally using it, yes.
Well,
in college ball.
In college ball.
College ball.
I would say the University of Texas was one of the first teams to use that.
Darryl Rogers?
Darryl Royal.
Royal, rather.
Yeah, absolutely right.
However, I understand that Royal actually got it from a high school coach.
Yes, he did.
Huey
Arneo dropped short of the 1st down.
Was that high school coach Huey Walsh?
Could be.
No, but you was one of the first ones to adapt it to high school ball.
I had thought Bud Wilkinson originally, and I asked that question of Bob DeMarco. Darryl Royal, of course, was the down in Texas.
You should have asked us before you went to DeMarco. Come on. 4th and about long 1.5.
Gosh, and Madison's not
They're
taking
going.
too much of a chance here, are they?
Ball at their own 37. Straight dive play, and they pick up the 1st down.
And that's confidence.
Well, it's confidence, and why not?
Coelho.
They've been picking up as much yardage as they choose to. So short distance, they didn't want to give up that ball. Particularly when the Bears have shown that they can move the ball on the Spartan defense through the air.
Well, I'm sure that pass play and that penetration deep into Madison Central territory woke up some of the coaching staff across the way there. Timeout. And they've used up now their 3 timeouts this half.
Well, Bob DeMarco is not shy at calling timeouts. I had mentioned this to somebody that he is one of the most adept coaches at using timeouts wisely. And if he sees something wrong, he will not hesitate to use them. Timeouts are given for a specific purpose. And with the game 14-0, I mean, there's every reason to believe that he should use them right now.
And as you take a look out on the field, I believe that's Bob out there. Bob's also an assistant lacrosse coach at Rutgers University, which is a surprise, but interesting. And he comes into this game with a record of 92, 49, and 5.
Lacrosse is a passion of his. Now, DeMarco comes from Cardinal Spellman High in New York City, but also originally was from North Tarrytown, New York, which is somewhat of a little bit hotbed for lacrosse. So he was raised on that. Now spends a lot of his time in northeastern Pennsylvania, has a house up there, probably will retire there in whatever year that may be. But football is his main concern right now, obviously.
1st and 10 for the Spartans. Ball on their own 43. They lead 14-0. Arneo, and this is Maldonado.
And boy, can he explode off that line.
He certainly has some speed, Jim.
Picks up 7.
And I think it's obvious, guys, that East Brunswick is a little dispirited right now. That defense is getting pounded, and they're doing all they can just to hold their own.
2nd down and about 3. Maldonado over the top. He won't get the 1st down. but it'll bring up 3rd and short.
And let's give the Bears some credit. The middle of that defensive line there. The stops on them.
Bears in 3rd and about 1.
Well, the ball's in East Brunswick territory. 3rd and about 1. Ball resting on the East Brunswick 49.
Shanley,
and
I
they got
believe.
the first down.
That was Shanley, I believe. Is that his first carry?
That is Jim, number 31, Keith Shanley.
Usually a defensive back.
Ken Shanley, I'm sorry.
Right, and I know you guys are going to ask me right away, any relationship to the Shanley that we knew, Ken Shanley?
Right.
The answer is no.
Aha.
First down, Madison Central. Arneo keeps, steps in, looks to pitch, but it'll have to fall forward.
Hey, boy, they're just grinding out the yardage here. I would have to think that they have well over 150 yards on the ground. Maybe more. We're only in the second period, 8 minutes left.
And Bruce Ing, consecutive tackles. He's been in there.
Ball at the East Brunswick 41, 2nd and 7. Spartans on top, 14-0, 2nd quarter action. And this is Maldonado.
Look at him run.
Still on his feet inside the 10-yard line.
There's
and a flag, there's a late hit.
Well, it was a late hit by Carrion. Maldonado was clearly down. But boy, I'll tell you what, the misdirection by Madison Central that time had everybody on East Brunswick going to the right. Here comes Maldonado exploding through that hole.
I don't know if we mentioned it tonight, but the ball handling by Arneo. If I've seen any area of improvement from last year to this year, it's certainly there.
That's the experience. It comes with the experience. You got to be something special to run the wishbone offense as a quarterback anyway, and he's done a fine job, as you can see.
The penalty will move the ball to the East Brunswick 5-yard line. And it's 1st and goal from there. Madison looking to add to their 14-point lead. Arneo keeps, and he'll walk in.
And I tell you saw right there, smart move by the back. In the backfield, made a movement, froze and reset himself. Otherwise, they would have been penalized, and they score.
I don't know if Madison Central, did they bring their band? They're awful quiet over there. I've yet to hear a cheer on a touchdown.
Well, you know what? They score so frequently. It's almost, quite frankly, guys, I don't know how Woodbridge beat Madison, this team that we're seeing tonight. They are a machine, and maybe the weather elements, I don't know, had a lot to do with this.
Well, I don't know, Jim. Mike Salenta would differ with you. He's been saying all year that he's got a team there.
Herbert puts it through, and it's good. 21-0 now. Madison Central in the lead with 7:21 remaining in the second quarter.
Well, this is what makes football so interesting, and I'll tell you, an advantage to being a member of the Red Division, the Greater Middlesex Conference, is you're playing against Group 4 teams. And when we're talking about state playoffs, you base that on PowerPoints. And one of the disadvantages of a team, say like from the Mercer County area, like Trenton or Ewing, or even the Shore Conference, like the Matawans and teams like that, is that they play against Group 3 teams. So even though they may have better records, they may be a better team. They don't get the power rating, thus they don't get into the playoffs all the time. Conceivably, we might be looking at a situation here. This is clearly conjecture. Middletown South is really an excellent team. They're a Group 4 team. Trenton is an excellent team. But you have to consider Edison, Woodbridge, Madison Central. These are all teams that could easily find their way into the playoffs. It's very early in the season, I admit that. But this is some of the things that go through coaches' minds.
All right, Herbert will put a foot into it. Low liner this time. Picked up by number 27 for East Brunswick, Jeff Shanafy.
Right. Good return.
He brings it up to the 35-yard line.
Guys, as I was noticing in East Brunswick that a couple of underclassmen were inserted into the lineup on that defense, and Alan Wells being one of them. I noticed also that Ken Molina, let's see, he is a senior.
Right, Jeremy Fisher.
Jeremy Fisher. Yeah, these are all people that are getting an opportunity to play.
All right, the Bears on offense. Quick pitch to Phillips, right side. Nowhere to go. And he'll be dropped behind the line of scrimmage.
Jack McCain and Brian Brady on the stop for the Spartans.
So bring up 2nd and 11.
It'll be 2nd and 10.
Ball sitting at the East Brunswick 35-yard line. Habib will roll to his left. Looking for some help, puts it up in the air. He's got his man, but overthrows him.
Oh, that was a late hit.
And it will be thrown. The flag is down. Pass was intended for Tim
Go ahead, John.
Ajibata show.
Ah, don't ruin it. Come on.
Help me with it.
Come on, Phil. You're good at
I'll
pronunciations.
pronounce that name if I find it.
Well, Tim, you're going to be Tim A from now on.
No.
Timmy A.
Well, they're going to get the 15 yards. That was clearly a late hit.
Aji Batosho.
Good.
And he's the young man that runs a quarter mile for the Bears track team. Has run it in 51 seconds, so he has some speed. Okay.
5-yard pickup out of bounds goes Phillips.
And again, another nice run by Phillips. He's
Very nice run.
definitely running better today.
Yep. I think somebody must have talked to that young man and told him.
Well, he's got all the equipment there, and it's just like you got to want it. You got to want it. You got to take it to him.
Well, East Brunswick moves over the 50 into Madison Central territory. They have a 2nd and 5, the ball on the Spartans' 45-yard line. 6 minutes remaining before halftime. They trail 21-0 as Habib looks, plants, throws out. He's got his man and dropped.
Well, the pass was dropped, but I'll tell you what, that was a much better pass for a number of reasons. First of all, Habib looked off, and he didn't telegraph himself to his receiver, and that was enough to give his receiver enough time to get open.
Well, quite frankly, it was an excellent pass. Jim McNeil just dropped it.
3rd down and 5. East Brunswick needing to keep this drive alive and get some points before halftime. Habib keeps, rolls right.
Well, he's got a receiver open there.
Back to Szymanski, and he stretches inside the 30.
Yeah, all right.
I'll tell you.
First down.
Good first down now. And that's what they're going to have to do. Keep rolling out and picking out your receivers. That's the only place that they're vulnerable.
Well,
they seem to be.
They did something also. They flooded the zone there with a receiver outside and underneath.
First down for the Bears. Ball on the Madison Central 30. Habib, handoff. And I didn't see who carried it. Bruce Ang, number 39. And if that is Bruce, he's down. It appears to be a cramp.
Well, I want to find out about these cramps. I talked to Phil Hostler, and Phil tells me a cramp is nothing more than a chemical imbalance. And then later on, he told me it's from muscle fatigue and gave me a very good explanation. If I get a chance to talk about it, I'll tell you why we're seeing so many cramps this year. We seem to be seeing more than we normally do.
2nd and 9. Habib rolls to his right, being pressured, puts it up in the air. He's got his man.
Oh, wow.
Great catch. Number 90, Scott Roman.
I'll tell you, a very dangerous pass.
It was
dangerous.
dangerous.
And the fact of the matter is, Roman came back to the ball there, cut cut in nicely and made a nice catch, a beautiful catch, as a matter of fact.
You know, you wonder whether he can get away. Well, there's no sense taking chances, not taking chances at this juncture, really. So you throw caution to the wind. But Szymanski was open again on the outside. East Brunswick is definitely flooding a bunch of receivers in crisscross patterns.
1st and 10 for the Bears at the Spartan 11-yard line. Looking to get on the board, 4 minutes remaining. Habib over the middle, dropped by Szymanski.
Boy, that could have gone for a touchdown, perhaps.
Well, they're going to count the number of drop passes tonight. And quite frankly, they've been too many.
Where's that ball? On about the 13-yard line, 12-yard line?
They're saying the 11-yard line, so we'll say it's 2nd and 10 from the 11. They can pick up a first without scoring. Habib gives it to Phillips inside. Phillips picks up a couple, but it'll bring up a 3rd down for East Brunswick.
Well, you got to keep this defense honest, but quite frankly, I think East Brunswick was having excellent success moving the ball through the air. They're only going to get 2 more shots at the end zone.
You got Kohlheim on the sideline here, 3rd down situation, and you think you want Ray Kohlheim in there. He's been one of the better looking receivers.
Has the ability to get open.
3rd and 6 for the first. Habib looks, throws over the middle, ball's tipped and knocked away, and it brings up 4th down.
Wow.
Well, it looks like McNeil was not ready for that pass. It was thrown a little early.
And Marcus Borden wants a timeout. Let's see if he gets it, and they will call it. So with 3:55 remaining here before halftime, East Brunswick trailing 21-0. East Brunswick will take a timeout.
Well,
they're facing a 4th and 6, Jim.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that 10 times East Brunswick has gone to the air. We've already noted a couple of drop passes, but Habib has been successful in completing 3 of those passes. One, that 46-yarder, that beautiful pass to Kohlheim, and then he connected on with Szymanski for 17, and then Roman for the 16 or 18-yard completion, which has enabled East Brunswick to have its deepest penetration at this point.
And let's play. You be the coach. What do you? Marcus Borden is in there. What are we going to say?
Well, I would say that they're in a little closer quarters, so they certainly can't use those crisscrossing passing routes. But you had mentioned Kohlheim, rangy player with good hands, and I think he's in there, number 14. I would not be shocked to see the ball go into him.
Let's see if Phillips comes out of the backfield.
Phil, I think you got to put Habib in motion with the ball, either run or throw it. Here we go, 4th down. Habib will roll left, looks, puts it up in the air. Szymanski's got it, touchdown.
All right.
And I'll tell you, a beautiful play. Give Marcus
Really
Borden some
was.
credit. He called that play, and
Well,
they executed it perfectly.
You know, I thought he was going to throw it to Kohlheim, but Kohlheim was just a decoy. And that caused the coverage to go to him, letting Szymanski get open, caught the ball, and put it in.
And I'll tell you, it gives the team a big lift.
Barrick on for the extra point. So Habib to Szymanski for the score. High snap. It's a fake. Habib has it. He's got nowhere to throw it.
Well, was he hit?
He's hit. The ball is loose.
He
Actually, that didn't appear to be a fake because I didn't see anyone out there.
No.
Habib took a shot and bounced right back
He really
up,
did.
I tell you.
That was quite a shot that he took.
Making the score, Spartans 21, the Bears 6.
Well, guys, the Bears are on the board. And it's something to build on.
It's certainly something to build on.
Right.
A nice pass from Habib to Szymanski, and he held on to that one.
Well, it was a nice drive.
Right, and we had mentioned that defense was out there playing a lot. Probably gave some of these players an opportunity to get a rest. I think they desperately needed it. Madison was running them up and down the field. And let's see if they can respond.
Well, there's still some time left on the clock before half. See if East Brunswick can hold Madison Central here and maybe get the ball back They trail now 21-6. And it seems like you can pass, Jim, as you mentioned, on Madison Central.
Well, you have to be intelligent with the passing, and I think Marcus Borden has found a combination here where if he can use some misdirection, he can accomplish some things.
Barrick's kick,
Well,
they whistled it dead.
And as you watch his kick go awry, there are new rules for kickoffs this year. Of course, we know the old rule that if you kick it out of bounds, you move the ball back 5 yards. But the new rule says that you can take the ball 30 yards from the spot where the ball was kicked. So technically, if the ball's kicked there from the 35 and went out of bounds, Madison Central could take it on their own 35. New rule, Jim.
Yeah, the penalty was against Madison, John.
I didn't catch the call.
Varick, well, it probably was an offside call.
Yeah, that would be my guess as Varick gets ready again. Gets a good leg into it. Maldonado has a little trouble handling it and is smothered at about the 15-yard line.
And good coverage by the Bears specialty team.
At the 15-yard line, it will be 1st and 10 for the Spartans.
And the Bears, it would be nice if they could get their hands back on the ball and score themselves, but what they have to do is ensure that the Spartans don't get it punching another one before the half.
This is absolutely the key part of the game for the Bears.
1st and 10 for the Spartans. Ball on their own 15. 3:25 remaining before halftime.
And that's that counter.
A little counter by Shanley, and he picks up about 6 yards. So it'll be 2nd and 4. But this offense does eat the clock up. East Brunswick, I believe, has 2 timeouts remaining. I'm not sure.
I think it's 1, John.
1. Inside goes Coelho.
Well, he's been a workhorse tonight, hasn't he?
At 2:05.
And he's got the 1st down.
Across the 25-yard line for Spartans, 1st down.
It's not pretty, but it's awful smooth to watch.
Are they going to eat up this clock, or are they going to try to surprise them with the pass here?
Well, Phil, we saw that a couple years ago where they kind of lulled East Brunswick, and then I think it was, I'm not sure if it was Arneo, but the quarterback at the time threw that bomb, and you always have to be wary of that. Ball's loose. They're saying East Brunswick.
I'll tell you, if East Brunswick's got it.
It is East Brunswick.
All right.
I'll tell you.
Looks like Shanley was the one that coughed that ball up for Madison.
And I think number 62 for the Bears.
All right, this is the break that East Brunswick needed to get it back in this ball game.
2:12 on the clock. They have 1 timeout remaining.
That's plenty of time, considering that they're going to be passing.
Clock is running down to 2 minutes. Ball at the Madison Central 25. 1st and 10 for the Bears. They trail 21-6.
Watch for Kohlheim, Phil.
Habib rolls right, quickly outside, and over the intended receiver. That was McNeil.
Boy, there's a lot of open receivers for East Brunswick.
And we want to make sure to give Mark Lorenzo, I'm sure he was the player that recovered that ball there.
Okay.
And they're in excellent field position, and
the opportunity is handed to
the
them.
opportunity's here, that's for sure.
2nd and 10. Habib, a little counter to Phillips. He's dropped at the 25-yard line, so he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Third down here, Jim.
Yeah, the play was designed to keep East Brunswick honest.
Okay.
Excuse me, Madison Central
We
honest.
got 2 passes, they got 2 downs.
And the clock is running.
We're down to 1:20. Ball on the Madison Central 25. East Brunswick needs 10 to keep this drive going. 1 timeout. Habib rolls right. looking for some help, puts it in the air,
Wow.
overthrows his receiver. I think he was looking for McNeil again. So you got to go on this, I would think, 4th down.
And Varick's coming out to kick the field goal.
Well, we've noted that it hasn't been affected that much. He's already been successful in the first game. Am I right, from 46 yards?
Yes, you're right.
Okay, this would be a 43-yard field goal. Attempt coming from the 33-yard line.
Well, here we go. Varick for a 43-yarder to move East Brunswick up to 9. The kick is low and will be even close to it.
Man, I tell you, he's a little upset as you see him throw the tee off the field, but we know he has the power to kick it. What it is, it's that off foot. The foot where the stress fracture is. You can't put the pressure that you need to put on that. Therefore, it's going to affect your kicking.
I'm not trying to second guess Marcus Borden, but if you looked at his kickoffs tonight, they were low. I don't know why you would think he would have a better chance on a field goal, but certainly.
John, the reason is that he was successful from 46 yards, and quite frankly, I think the problem with Varick on that kick was that he was so concentrated on trying to get that ball, drive that ball, that it upset the other things.
I tell you.
East Brunswick.
Ken Molina down on the bottom of that pile there. Nice tackle.
Madison probably going to go conservative here.
And East Brunswick trying to prevent any further damage as East Brunswick takes their last time out.
Well, Jim, I think John was making the point that, again, that Varick has a bad foot, left foot. And
yeah, I was concerned even looking at his kickoffs that maybe, that was putting a little bit more than he needed to put in terms of stress on that foot. And so I just wonder, why would you have him try the field goal knowing that he really hasn't been kicking off well. But again, Marcus Borden looking to get some points on the board. You go to the man who's been there and has been dependable for you.
Isn't it great to be in a position to second guess?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's what the game's about.
Yeah.
Well, John, first of all, I want to congratulate you on Miami. A big acquisition.
That's right.
Keith Jackson.
Keith Jackson.
Congratulations.
Well, I think he's going to fit in well if the offense. The key to the Miami on offense is the line, and obviously on defense is can they stop the running game, and they're going to be tested this week.
They're going to get beat this week. And Jim,
I'm not so sure.
Jim, to you, the Giants are
back on track.
Back on track. So congratulations to you. Phil Simms looking good.
And I guess he's waiting for us to congratulate him.
Yeah, well, he's wearing
about the Dallas Cowboy hat he's got on.
I'm a front runner. I know it.
We know that.
But, he was lying low there for about 5 years.
I know. We never heard about the Cowboys.
It should be a great game in about, let's see.
48 hours.
Good Lord.
In about 35 minutes. No, in about an hour from now, about the time this game's shown.
Well, that's true. That's right. It'll be shown on Monday night. And Madison Central content to let the clock run out and finish out this half. And as the clock does run down, despite the score 21-6 at the moment in favor of Madison Central, East Brunswick has had some opportunities.
Yes, they have.
Well, they've had some opportunities. They've taken advantage of, obviously, of an opportunity as well. They've blown some also with drop passes. And we said at the top of the game, they're going to have to play a complete game if they expect to win it. They got a second half, and who knows?
And Arneo will go down on a knee on this one.
I'm sure, as the clock's down to 15 seconds.
That'll do it for this quarter.
And for the first half. As the clock runs down and the teams start heading for the locker rooms, it's halftime here at East Brunswick High School. Our score, Madison Central 21, East Brunswick 6. And I think, coming out in the second half, East Brunswick will have the ball, they'll receive.
Right.
So certainly a drive, obviously points, would help. But I think more importantly, it's going to be on the defensive side. If they can stop Madison Central, particularly on that first drive, the first time they touch the ball second half, that's what's going to be needed.
Well, they're going to have to create turnovers. They've been fortunate. The ball's bounced away a few times right now, and they're going to have to create some turnovers. If they create some turnovers, possibly they could get back in this game and anything can happen.
Well, it's halftime, and we'll be back with the start of the third quarter action in just a moment. We welcome you back to the second half of the East Brunswick-Madison Central game. The Bears going out on the field. They'll receive the second half kickoff. They trail 21-6.
And I thought Phil made a good point, John, at the end of the first half, where he had mentioned, or was it you that said the importance of East Brunswick getting the ball and trying to move the ball down the field. We're going to be focusing in on that.
Well, a touchdown could turn this game around. We mentioned the missed opportunity seems to be the byline tonight, as Phillips will field it at the 5-yard line. Takes it straight up the middle and comes across to the 25.
Good run back. Took that right at the goal line. Herbert has a good foot. Saw in the game against Perth Amboy, the opening game, he put the ball in the end zone about 6 times.
Number 7, bringing the Bears out.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Bears from their own 25. They trail 21-6. Habib will put it up over the middle. He's got a man.
Wide open.
Roman makes the catch for the first down.
And again, it was Habib's ability to look off his primary receiver that got Roman open.
And Roman with the second big catch of the game.
By the way, Habib was 4 for 13 in that first half.
And a lot of drop passes to his, just for his record.
Scott Roman, 5'6", 129, 129 pounds.
1st and 10 from the 42. Phillips. Hey, he's got some running room. Phillips still on his feet, gets the first down.
Great run.
I'll tell you.
Great run.
I'll tell you, we've been sort of critical in the past, but this game here, he's run as well as.
Well, I think you put it right, Phil. It seemed like Eric tended to tap dance a lot more than go through the middle, where he could pick up more yardage. This time, he's just going more north-south.
Right.
Ball's in Madison Central territory. 1st and 10, East Brunswick. Habib looks, pumps, has a man over the middle. Szymanski, and he drops it.
Oh.
Second one, Nick is dropped.
I'll tell you, 2 receivers, Kohlheim and Szymanski, in that area there, bringing 4 defenders there, but it didn't make any difference. The ball still hit him in the hands. Just didn't hold on to it. And again, you got to.
You know, when you get a drive going, you have to establish a rhythm,
right.
and this is the type of thing that breaks it up.
Drive killers, you're exactly right.
2nd and 10, ball resting at the Madison Central 47. Habib again will roll to his right. Plants. He's got a man, overthrows him, looking for McNeil.
Okay, Habib didn't get his feet underneath him. He didn't set well, and reason for the overthrow.
You know, that's something we should mention. Granted, Habib is running lateral every time he gets the ball, but Madison Central really hasn't been able to get to him or apply any pressure whatsoever.
Well, the rollout, that's the purpose of the rollout. He's staying away from him pretty much.
3rd and 10. East Brunswick needing to keep this drive going. Habib looks, being pressured, will roll to his right. Puts it up in the air and almost intercepted. Ball knocked away by Canzano.
Okay, very close to going
Oh, let's see here now.
Across that line.
We have an injured player down for East Brunswick.
I think that's 58. 58 for the Bears. Tom Ruggia, their fine center. Well, he's sprawled out now. Boy, Phil, go back to that drop pass by Szymanski. That really, we mentioned it. It's a tough one to recover from.
Drive killers. That's exactly what it is. And I tell you see Tom Ruggia down on the field there, 5'10", 190-pound senior, and he's done a fine job for them.
Good snap man.
Yeah.
Which was a deficiency for East Brunswick in the past. We've noted that a number of point after tries. Tom has been excellent.
And I tell you, after your quarterback, probably your next most valuable player is at center. Everything kicks off with your center, so you certainly don't want to lose him.
They're still attending to Ruggia. And Barrick's on the field, and we anticipate a punt here.
Yeah, I see that now. Habib is taking snaps on the.
I'll tell you why we take a look at Ruja, gentlemen. I'd like to mention another event. Walter Kajatic, better known as Booney, a coach, longtime coach at South River. His young son involved in an accident in Jamesburg, and we certainly wish Kajatic and his family well. He's well liked by anyone that's ever met him, and people are rallying around him, and we certainly wish him and his family well.
Back deep for the Spartans.
All right, Barrick out to punt.
Number 1, Mark
Canzano goes back deep for Madison Central. Ooh, Barrick gets it off.
And
no flag.
well,
They're saying it was
no,
partially blocked,
no,
I guess.
he initially fell over his own man. I was more concerned for the
Wow.
for the guy's leg.
I was concerned for whoever that was that
Came
blew
into
in there
him.
for Madison Central and just destroyed the blocker, blocking back for East Brunswick.
Spartans, 15-yard line.
Well, the Bears had a drive going there for a while. Now they're going to have to respond defensively.
Ball at the Madison Central 14-yard line. 1st and 10 for them. First possession of the second half. Coelho on the carry.
And Gervavac on the tackle. And
I'm sorry, that was Vaughn Scott, number 33. Scott in.
They interchange.
Also, Salon and Philback on the carry. Gain of about 5.
Those players a lot.
It'll be 2nd and 5.
5-yard pickup, 2nd and 5 from the 20. Just shy of the 20. Maldonado
Takes a hit.
takes a hit, but not before he picks up the first down.
Boy, he is not shy when it comes to charging upfield.
That's
He
for
doesn't
sure.
care what's going to happen to him.
And Gerbervac again, laid one on him.
Anthony Philback to the Bears.
Ball at the
Ball is at the
Spartan 30-yard line. 1st and 10. 9:15 remaining in the third quarter. Madison Central on top, 21-6. Arneo keeps it, finds that gap,
Arneo on the carry.
still on his
Wow,
feet.
broke that tackle.
And just an outstanding run by Arneo
He sure did it.
as
It's
he
right.
gets into East Brunswick territory.
By number 23, Flipper.
Well, I thought for sure he was going to be brought down.
About 32 yards.
And that's the beauty of the wishbone. I mean, you clamp down on that dive guy, and
It'll be a 1st and 10 from the
next thing you know, the quarterback's on the outside, picking up good yardage there.
Well, I think it bears repeating that's the nature of the wishbone offense, but it also is the execution of this quarterback.
1st and 10 for Madison Central. Ball on East Brunswick 38. And we talked about East Brunswick needing to stop them on this first possession. Arneo trips, stands up, lets it downfield. He's got a man. It's caught.
That's Mark Canzano.
That is Canzano, number 1.
Right, the sophomore. Only the second pass.
And identical to the first pass
Exactly.
thrown by
Both completions.
Arneo. First one, of course, went for a touchdown.
This one almost made it.
And it's 1st and goal for the Spartans, looking to add to their lead.
It's got to be tough playing the secondary tonight for East Brunswick. You know, you're playing run. You see the run, and all of a sudden, bang, they hit you.
Right, you got to come up to stop the run, and as soon as you do.
Wishbone formation. Arneo keeps it,
He's in.
and he's got his 2nd touchdown of the evening. 3rd, I'm sorry.
And a carry for the touchdown for the Spartans.
And Rick Arneo scored 11 touchdowns last year.
Well, he's adding to the total tonight.
And he'll certainly pass that number this year if he continues at this pace.
7:55 remaining third quarter. Madison Central adds to the lead. It's now 27-10 with the extra point coming up by Herbert.
Attempt the extra point out of the hold of Rick Arneo.
And it's good.
Jeez.
And that could have been a 50-yard
I'll tell you,
field goal.
effortlessly.
Yeah, that's Jeff Herbert when he does it the right way. Wow, that was quite a methodical drive right there for Madison. They really just moved the ball down the field, established themselves once again. And East Brunswick's going to have to climb out of this hole.
Down by 22 points.
Well, you look for some light in a dismal situation like this. And I have to say that Emil Habib has looked a lot more comfortable throwing the ball. He seems to be able to get enough time for himself to set up. He rolls out very, very well, and he has been the victim of a bunch of drop passes tonight, John.
Without a doubt. There have been a few other spots. Phillips, as we said, seemingly running a lot better.
Right.
Gerbervac defensively.
All right, Herbert will kick it off. Low, fielded by one of the up backs. That's Shanafe.
Ooh.
And he's whacked.
He takes a hit shy of the 40-yard line, but East Brunswick will have decent field position.
Shanafe showing good speed.
All right, let's see what East Brunswick does. I mean, there's no magic or mystery around this. They've got to certainly go back to that air attack. That's their best chance.
Right.
Especially being down by 22 points.
That's a single setback.
That's the formation they've been in all night.
That's right.
Habib looks to his right, throws it. And he's got Kohlheim.
Nice move by Greg. Turns it in and gets himself an extra 5 yards.
Picks up big close to the first down. Let's see where they mark it.
I think that's the first.
And it is. Ball just shy of midfield.
East Brunswick's hurrying.
Ooh.
Look out.
Ooh,
Habib blindsided, ball's loose.
Did he get that arm cocked, gentlemen?
That was
That's the question.
That was Bonfante. We haven't mentioned his name tonight, but he has been a big key for Madison Central this year.
I think what happened there was a fumble, but I think Habib recovered it himself.
Right, and his knees were down, so the play was blown dead.
Gotta wonder if somebody just didn't miss an assignment on that. Bonfante just was blazing in.
Well, they only have one back staying in. They've been in single back formation all night, so it's hard for one to be there to block them.
Habib will roll left. Looking for some help. Puts it up in the air. He's got his man. It's caught. Szymanski.
Boy, nice play, huh?
I'll tell you. Habib improvising.
I was watching the blocking on that. Give credit to Jason Gomel, who caught McKiernan on the downside.
Szymanski looks so good when he does catch it.
First down for the Bears.
Super looking pass.
Ball at the Madison Central 30. Habib, handoff to Phillips. And he gets back to the line of scrimmage.
So running game has really gone nowhere.
By number 63 of Madison, Toby Metzger. It'll be second and 10.
Second and 10. Stay in that same formation. Habib rolls to his right. Throws it up this time. And knocked away from Kohlheim.
That was almost a rendition of the tip drill. Kohlheim has a decided height advantage over his defensive player, Canzano, who's only about 5'7". I think Kohlheim, let's see, he is 6'2". So I think that was the essence of that pass play.
That'll bring up 3rd and 10. Ball sitting at the Spartan 30. 5:22 remaining in the third quarter. East Brunswick trailing 28-6. 3 receivers to the right side. Timeout. It looks like there's some confusion as to the formation.
Well, that was Marcus that called that timeout.
Well, they had 1 player shy.
Okay. You know, John, you mentioned our best wishes for Lou Cosa. I think we also have to mention that his girls soccer team, nonetheless,
That's right.
has been able to continue to roll. They are up to 6-0 and have not been scored upon this year and are ranked #1 in the state, according to the New York Star Ledger. And that is just so typical of that team. And give credit to Brian American, who's taken up the reins on that.
Yep. Brian, kind of the forgotten man on the sidelines normally, but has done an outstanding job.
And I would like to mention all the players, but I'm not prepared. I'm afraid I'm going to miss somebody. But Lisa Rabi has scored 5 goals yesterday.
Excuse me?
5 goals, yeah.
5 goals? Wow.
Yeah, she had an off day.
That was in an 8-0 victory over Saraville.
Well, the Bears trying to generate some offensive showing here. Fans trying to get them going a little bit. 3rd down. Quick out pass to McNeil. And he's going to be short of the 1st down. Brings us up a 4th down.
They look like they're going to be about 3 yards short.
Okay, they got to keep doing what they've been doing.
Yeah. 4th down. We'll call it 2. Ball on the 22-yard line. And the miscue.
Well, let's see what the flag's about now.
Habib pulling away before the ball was snapped.
Yeah. Well,
still a passing down.
Right, so it'll bring it back for a 4th and 7. This is not an option for Madison Central to decline this penalty.
Right, dead ball foul.
Little miscue on the center snap. Should point out that Rouge is back.
All right, 4th and about 6 for the 1st. Habib looks down the middle. He's got a man.
Yes.
Roman drops it.
Oh, it was there. It was there. Another drop pass.
Wow. Again, 2 men in the same area there.
Yeah, Phil, I was just, yeah.
And Roman Szymanski, I don't know if he shielded Roman away from it, but beautiful pass appeared to be there. And again, they just didn't hold on to it.
Wow, that was a tough one.
So on the 4th down incomplete pass, the ball goes over to Madison Central with 4:17 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Arneo gives it inside. No, keeps it. There's the pitch, Phil.
That's Maldonado.
That's the one guy you don't want on the outside.
Wow.
You know, I haven't seen Atlack for quite a while. Don't know whether he's being rested or whether or not he has an injury.
Just out of curiosity, Madison Central goes where next week?
I'm not ready to answer that.
Which means
We understand Atlack hurt his hand. Anyway, it's 1st down for the Spartans. The ball on their own 42. They lead 28-6. Arneo keeps. And I don't know if you guys picked it up on the a series or 2 ago. Arneo was playing defensive back.
Well, that's not
unusual?
an unusual situation. I know that Bob DeMarco, the coach, would prefer not to put Ricky in, but he does have that option. Arneo is just a superb athlete.
John, to answer your question, Madison Central isn't going anywhere next week. They're off next week. They have a bye, and the week after that, they play J.P. Stevens.
All right. There's Maldonado.
Boy, look at him move.
Wow.
Uh-oh, breaks 2 tacklers.
He is
it's
fast.
a foot race.
He's fast.
And
And he is churning up some yards tonight.
I tell you, he's
Colheim showing some speed too.
Exactly. But Maldonado, quite a performance.
First down for the Spartans, and they're picking up huge chunks of yardage now.
And Jim, they have backs they haven't really used tonight.
Such as?
They haven't. Well, Chad. Well, not Chad.
Well, they do have a number of sophomores, Phil, that they will bring in. The Canzano brothers can run a lot.
Right.
Shanley, I'm sorry. Yes, Shanley, we mentioned him. He's seen a little action. But you're right, they come in waves. Arnea looks like
he dropped it. He did.
Whoa.
Pitches it out, and Madison Central averts a turnover.
And I don't think that's a play that Bob DeMarco is going to want to see again.
Now you won't see that on the highlight film. So a loss of yardage.
But I think it's very obvious that this is a very talented Madison Central team with good size in the line. They are also quick, and it's you can see that they have a talented quarterback and excellent, just a wave of running backs to bring at you.
And we had an official timeout. Some kids in the end zone. He had to chase away.
All right, we have 2:10 clock running here in the third quarter. Second and would be gold now from about the 11-yard line.
Oh, he stopped.
Maldonado dropped.
And that was Gerbevak, I believe. Check Wells. That was Alan Wells that was in on that tackle.
A nice tackle, too.
A 6', 218-pound junior.
Well, as the clock's running, we want to point out that East Brunswick takes on an opponent we've not seen in football anyway, and that's Monroe next week.
Monroe Township in the white division, moving up in size.
Arneo keeps looking to throw the ball over the middle, incomplete.
Well, I think Herbert sort of tripped and went down before that ball arrived there. I don't think it was catchable anyway. Now, Herbert, as we mentioned, is an excellent field goal kicker.
And they're throwing the tee out, which can be used in high school, so they're going to give him a shot at it.
Right, and off that extra point that we saw, he should have no trouble.
Distance shouldn't be an issue.
He's got an angle, John.
Out of the hole, quarterback number 8,
Herbert, high snap. Ball is placed, and the kick is good. Oh, no, wide right.
It was
looked
wide.
good from this angle.
It was not a good snap.
No.
The holder, Arneo, barely had enough time to get the ball down.
Did a good job of getting it down.
Right.
Just disrupted the whole action.
East Brunswick Colts.
Well, they held them, and they get the ball with 1:16 left in the third quarter. Trailing by 22 points, 28-6.
And give credit to that East Brunswick defense that's stepping up. We thought that Madison was going to go right down the field again and score, but they held.
Temporary delay on the field. Now they're looking for the East Brunswick football. I guess each team has their own preferred football.
By the way, if anybody's counting, Emil Habib, 20 passes so far. What's the record, Phil? 37 last year
37.
against Edison?
Right.
We could reach that. I'll tell you what, they're going to be going through the air.
Yeah. Habib, short drop, looks to his left, has his man, Colheim, taken down immediately.
That's Colheim's third reception tonight.
Phil, I'd like to see Kohlheim again matched up one-on-one and see something down the sideline.
Let him stretch out.
Pickup of about 6, so it'll be 2nd and 4 from the 26.
Ooh.
And over the head of McNeil. So another 3rd down situation for the Bears.
Again, Habib, when he throws that pass there, we talked about the rush wasn't in on him. We talked about just setting slightly, but his feet are still moving when he tries to throw that, and therefore he ends up overthrowing the receiver significantly.
Well, we should point out, Amo moved from wide receiver to quarterback this year. Again, passing, good attempt, but pass will be short. McNeil stretching. So it'll be a 4th down. A flag is down, and they're calling a hold against, I'm not sure, East Brunswick.
It will be declined.
Jimmy, you started to talk about Monroe moving up in the wing.
Yes, Monroe Township really started out playing football a number of years ago. Group 1, and I know Phil's going to chime in with the coach.
Headed in by a South River great, Keith Hudak.
That's right.
Who's done a fine job. Had their best record ever last year at 6-3. Maybe not their best record, because I remember I think they almost qualified for the playoffs a number of years ago. But they find themselves now in the white division, and probably in a couple of years that school is going to be big enough to be Group 4.
Yeah, I would think so. Well, East Brunswick's it's 3rd down with the penalty, 3rd and 18 from the 13. Habib rolls to his right, puts it up in the air, looking for Kohlheim. He's got it.
Wow.
Woo!
Well, Jim,
First down.
you asked for it, and there you are.
I tell you, great Kohlheim. He looks to be a fine receiver. What year is he?
He's just a sophomore.
Okay. Somebody that we can keep our eyes on in the future.
Ball right at midfield. First down for the Bears. 21 seconds remaining, 3rd quarter. Phillips. And Jim, if I'm not mistaken, other than 1 carry, Phillips has touched the ball, has been the only back touching the ball for East Brunswick.
That is correct. He got himself, what, 1 yard, 2 yards on that play?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has about 45 yards.
And that'll end the 3rd period as the clock runs down to 0.
So Madison Central, the only team to put points on the board. But East Brunswick's showing some signs now of life. I think they dearly would like to get another touchdown on the board. And what do we have? That's 24 passes for Habib tonight. He's completed, let's see, I haven't, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 for 24. With Greg Kohlheim being the recipient of 4 pass receptions. Scoring for Madison Central, they scored the first 3 times. Herbert catching a 25-yard pass from Rick Arneo, and the point was no good. And then Arneo followed with consecutive touchdown runs at the end of the first quarter and at the beginning of the second quarter. So that extended the lead to 21-0. And then East Brunswick got on the board in the second quarter with Szymanski catching a 6-yard pass from Emil Habib, making it 21-6. And then Arneo again, a 5-yard run to make the score 28-6. And that's where we're at.
That's where we're at as we start this 4th and final quarter.
Thank you, James.
Bears inside the Madison Central 50. Habib putting it up deep. Looking for McNeil down the sideline.
I'll tell you, a little bumping down there, and
we have a flag back up at the line of scrimmage.
Habib's showing a fine arm there.
You know, I was wondering, was Habib past the line of scrimmage on that one?
We're going to see, Jim. I I think that's a loss of down if it is, right?
It would be.
Yes, it
Yes.
All right. So it will.
No, apparently it's not a loss of down.
No, it was.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Right. So it's third now and about, let's call it 13. They moved back across the 50 from their own 48. Habib looking across field for Phillips, and he's lucky because if Herbert had looked up a second sooner.
I'll tell you.
He would have went after it. So that goes as a completion for negative yardage. And Varick is in there.
Now fourth down and about 15. East Brunswick will kick as Canzano goes back. High snap. Varick finally gets a foot into that one.
Wow.
A great kick. And it'll come to rest at about the 4-yard line.
I'll tell you, howitzer there.
Terrific.
So Jim Varick finally gets one off.
And
we mentioned again that, you know, he's got a sore left foot.
And it shows his competitive spirit to be able to get a kick off like that. That ball traveled about 65 yards.
And once again, you look for Spartans not to do anything fancy. Give it to the dive man and just try to pick up some yardage.
Timeout has been called on the field.
It's getting a little cool up here, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's starting to change a little bit.
You know, we've always noted that when it does get cold, the field starts to get a little slick.
I don't know if it's me, but these high school games seem to be getting longer.
Longer and
Well,
longer.
I think it's obvious that with all the passing going on, it stopped the clock.
We've talked a lot about losses. Jim, do you really believe that Mike Plumby, October 31st is going to be his last day?
That is hard to believe.
It's hard. I tell you, nice story in the TNT on Mike. Just a great story. First postmaster general for East Brunswick, a all-state basketball player, top-notch official, and
Heck of a guy, too.
a heck of a guy. That's the bottom line.
A real
That's right.
friend.
Gonna be sorely missed here at the East Brunswick Bears romping ground. Fumble, East Brunswick.
Indeed. You know, Madison Central has had its moments of being slightly confused, and of course, I'm not looking so much at this game, but you know, down the road here, when they play against Edison, for instance, who has an excellent team, that could come back to haunt them, as apparently it did against Woodbridge.
That's for sure. And the Bears certainly want to take it in here, gentlemen.
Oh, they need to, for their own pride.
And I think you got to go with Phillips. Got to go with Phillips maybe on a quick hitter here.
You
Ball
think
on
they
the
can?
4-yard line. That's Phillips with the ball, and he may have lost yardage.
Well, Phil, I was about to say, do you think they can penetrate that Madison Central
Well,
line?
he's picked up some good yards. He's picked up 5 yards at a clip here. But now they may have to do the play action off that fake to him, and a quick look in. Let's see what Szymanski's doing on this. Zizmansky is doing on this tight end. See if anybody bumps him.
Second down, quick pitch, Phillips right side.
He's got room there.
Does he fight his way in? Yes, he does. Eric Phillips, 4 yards out. Makes it 28-12.
And Jim, you talked about finding bright spots, and Marcus Borden has to be pleased with Phillips' performance. He's one of the best games that we've seen at running back for him. And if they can once they get Varick back, that will give them double weapons in the backfield.
Exactly. Another positive element about that fact is that they were able to take advantage of a turnover and put points on the board.
Well, we will not be covering the Monroe game, but in 2 weeks we will be covering Perth Amboy here at home, a Saturday game. One of the rare Saturday afternoon games, and I know that's Phil's favorite time for football.
That's when football's supposed to be played, Saturday afternoon. So I'll be looking forward to that.
Well, if you like the wishbone offense that's being run here, you're going to see more of it because Perth Amboy is coached by Joe Stinson, who...
Well, I beg to differ with you.
I'm sorry, it's the run and shoot.
The run and shoot.
Okay, but I'll tell you what, it shows a lot of wishbone in it, Phil. I saw that against Madison Central, and it's really something to behold because the Perth Amboy players have all the plays on their wrists, and every time an audible is called. We'll watch this first.
This is the two-point conversion. I think there was motion on the part of East Brunswick.
I'll tell you, the official standing right near Habib did not call it. Habib moved slightly. The official to the far end threw the flag. I think one official was going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
So the question is this a dead ball foul? If it is a motion, then it would apparently not.
It was procedure against East Brunswick.
So
it's going to be denied, and so the conversion is a failed attempt. And our score remains 28-12 with 10 minutes remaining in the game.
Okay. Well, to finish out what we can look forward to with Perth Amboy, Stinson apparently has such a complicated run and shoot offense that the audible is called at the line by the quarterback, and in unison, all the players look at their wrists.
Well, that's not so. A lot of colleges are doing that. If you look, I've seen more wrist action in the colleges.
Quarterbacks, I haven't seen linemen.
No, there are various players with information on the wrist. So I don't know if the college kids are getting smarter or
dumber, and the high school kids are getting smarter.
Before you know it, they're going to be wearing PC wristwatches, looking down at them.
Yeah, that'll map out the play for him. All right, East Brunswick will kick it off. It looks like an onside alignment.
The way it looks.
And you certainly have nothing to lose, and that's what it is. It's got to go 10 yards.
It didn't.
And it did.
And it'll be Madison Central's ball.
They'll take it right there. Is that one of the rule changes, Phil? They can elect to take the ball on an onside right at that point?
Well, I was talking about out of bounds.
Okay.
An out of bounds kick, they can take it at the spot. They can take it 30 yards from where it goes out of bounds, or they can have them kick it over again. Of course, this was an onside kick, and this is...
Well, the flag is not on the length of the kick, but there was procedure against East Brunswick.
Well, the way it looks, East Brunswick's prepared to kick off again.
Yeah, they'll move him back 5 yards.
I'm surprised that Madison wouldn't take the ball at that point. Do they have the option?
Apparently not. Because I couldn't see any reason why Bob DeMarco would want to have them kick it over.
I think the movement was prior to the kick. Flag thrown in, therefore.
Well, the officials are still discussing it.
Mark is sticking his head in there to find out what the action is, what the decision is.
Well, he's having a rather lively discussion.
Get some clarification.
I really don't. The ball did not go 10 yards.
No, that was a
recovered
fact.
by East Brunswick. That's a penalty. Seems to me Madison Central should have an option.
Yeah,
on
and
this.
I think that's what they're talking about right now. They say you want the ball at that position, and they say yes.
Okay, that was.
All right, Phil, you're right again.
Well, I'm just, if we stick with our original thought, it's very simple.
And we do have original thoughts.
Not many, but we, on occasion. So a lot to do about nothing. Madison Central gets the ball with 10 minutes left. They have it in East Brunswick territory, and they lead 28-12.
And as we had said before, Ron Atlack sitting the rest of this game out. He's on the sidelines, but with a hand injury.
Arneo keeps it. and falls forward. I think he'll be spotted short of the first down.
I'll tell you, Coelho does a nice job of faking that he has the ball.
Right. Good disguise.
As does Arneo. Faking that he gave it to him.
Second and, we'll say a long one. Ball at the East Brunswick 38. Coelho has it this time, and he just barrels people over.
He just knocked one of his own guys over as well.
He gets inside the 30. First down, Madison Central.
And guys, if you have an opportunity, if you haven't already, pay attention to 78 Jack McKiernan, because the center for Madison Central is a prime, heavily recruited Division I football player. He has excellent speed to go with his 265-pound size. And he's one of the reasons why Madison has been moving that ball.
Arneo keeps it.
You're right, Jim. He's been doing the job all day, offensively and defensively. And Bob DeMarco, as you said, he's a true Division I player. A lot of time coaches like to throw that around. You know, if you have a kid with some size or speed, he's a Division I player. McKernan certainly is a Division I prospect, no doubt about it.
Pickup of 9. It's 2nd and 1. Ball sitting at the East Brunswick 20. Arneo has the first down as he falls inside the 15-yard line.
I'll tell you, again, he's done a fine job running this wishbone.
He's passed the ball only twice tonight, completing both passes.
One for a touchdown.
One to Herbert for a 25-yard touchdown, and another going about 25 to 30 yards to Mark Canzano.
First and 10 from the 14.
Wow, Coelho just
Wow,
drags people.
and he had to be like hog-tied down as he picks up 7 yards. Ball at the 5-yard line. And it'll be 2nd and 5. Madison Central could pick up a first down without scoring.
It's got to be a helpless feeling to be out there, more almost knowing exactly what's going to be happening and not being able to stop it.
Arneo keeps. Oh, he's met that time.
Gerbervac.
They knew what was happening that time. Anthony puts the hit on Rick.
Clock running, 6:35 remaining in the game. 3rd and about 2 for the first. Coelho, he's in.
Blows in.
That was from the 5-yard line.
These are the quietest touchdowns I've ever seen scored by a team.
Well, Madison getting back to basics once again.
Yeah, very back to basics. They didn't bring the band.
Band is there.
Is it?
Yes, it's over on the far left side. I'll have to admit.
All 6 of them, I see them.
Yeah, there's not a lot of band members to the Madison Central Marching Band. And I think they have determined not to play music for the rest of the evening.
Anyway, Herbert will come on to add the 35th point if he can. No, that's a
problem again with the center snap.
That's an unusual play there.
Very unusual.
Bounced right off of Arneo's
off the
leg.
Holder's leg. Back.
And, you know, we're making light of that right now, but I'll tell you what, Bob DeMarco has to be concerned.
Oh, I'm sure he's not pleased with that.
They've been having problems with the center snap. And, again, Madison Central inevitably is going to get into a situation where they're going to need an extra point or a field goal, and it could haunt them. Enough said about that.
You heard it here.
But I don't think they have to be disappointed about the way they're executing this wishbone.
We're not keeping stats on Madison Central, but I imagine the yardage is quite considerable.
Quite considerably. They've had 5 good drives. Time-consuming and just grind them up yardage drives.
But you make the point, if they're going to compete with the elite of the state and whatnot, they got to sharpen up on quite a few things.
Like getting the ball on the tee. We have 6:15 remaining in this game. East Brunswick down 34-12. Low kick.
Looks like Lucarello. No, Shanafi again.
I think it was Lucarello. He brings it up to the 40.
Okay.
So the Bears will have it 1st and 10. Phil, I want to go back to a point you made earlier. Is this the time you bring in a sophomore quarterback and give him a chance?
Well,
or some playing experience?
When I was talking about sophomores, I was talking about younger players in general across the line.
Well,
you can't make the season a wash.
That's what I was going to say.
Habib has to develop if they're going to have any chance of doing anything.
Sure.
A young quarterback's going to find himself thrown in way over his head. So you certainly got to stick with your quarterback. But I think you're going to find Marcus slowly but surely getting younger players in. And let's set the record straight, because we've sound rather critical at times tonight. But the fact of the matter is the talent. The talent is not there. And one way to develop talent is let younger kids play.
Phillips, as a flag is thrown. And Phillips gets across midfield, but we'll see what the call is. I think you're going to have a holding against East Brunswick.
And Szymanski pleading with the official. Well, no,
they're going to wave it off.
They're going to pick it up. And thankfully, the ball still remains where it is. So that's a 14-yard gain for Phillips.
And a 1st down.
That's his biggest of the night. Seems like he had more than that, but still in all, if I can chime in on that, what your observation was, John and Phil, there's a few games left here. I mean, yeah, it's true, East Brunswick's going to go 0-3, but there are games that are going to be won this year.
Well, let me, as we watch Habib throw it up and out of bounds, my position is not that Habib has played poorly and needs to be yanked. What I'm suggesting is he's had a good game tonight. Give him a rest with 4 minutes left. Give someone a little playing exposure. Habib is your starting quarterback. Also, don't risk an injury. Just a thought.
Okay.
4:42 remaining in the game. Bears are facing a 2nd and 10 from the Madison Central 46. Habib looks, throws over the middle, and almost intercepted.
And,
that was Rafferty.
That is pass number 30 on the evening.
That'll stop the clock.
They're going to try again.
3rd down. Habib looks, plants his feet, throws down the middle for Szymanski, and tough catch that time.
Wow.
In all fairness to the young man.
I'll tell you, just a little too much touch. Nice touch, but a little too much touch on it. He
Right.
needed to put a little more zing on it.
We've got a flag down.
Well,
Holding against, I believe, East Brunswick.
and in this situation, they may want to bring it back, because it is a 4th down, but they are on the other side of the field. You know East Brunswick's going to go for it, so they might want to make them try a little harder.
Brunswick High School campus that you cooperate with the East Brunswick Special Police for our meeting
And they're going to decline the penalty, bring up 4th down, and East Brunswick will bring in the punting unit.
Well, they're going to punt it. Okay. Don't know why.
No. 34-12 is our score with 4 minutes remaining here in this game.
Well, geez, I thought he was going to throw it for a second there.
Another nice punt. No one back from Madison Central. And the ball comes to rest on the 5.
Jim Varick with another nice punt. Didn't have to boom it all that much. Well, I suspect, man, let's see if Arneo's still in there at quarterback. Mark Canzano, number 1, is one of the substitute quarterbacks. And they also have another senior, I believe, who is in there now, I suspect.
Still Arneo.
It is Arneo?
Yep. Well, the same could be said about DeMarco.
More so, John.
Uh-oh, here comes Coelho outside, last man to get him, and he pulls him down. Nice tackle by Dave Habib.
It's a good question. Why is Arneo in there? As a matter of fact, there's a lot of first-teamers that are in there. All right, one by one, I'm starting to see some people exit the game.
Up the middle.
All right.
Goes number 26, I believe that was, or
some new faces.
And the Bears are substituting liberally themselves.
Yeah, 26 is not in the program.
no. Clock running, 2:30 remaining in the game. And we need to go back and reiterate some of the positives. The work of Eric Phillips certainly stands out tonight on the East Brunswick offense. There goes Maldonado, 1st down.
Well, he's certainly a first-teamer.
Yeah. We've seen some the emergence of McNeil and Kohlheim in the passing game. Szymanski in the passing game.
Habib had his moments.
Yeah. I think, as Phil alluded to during the pregame, it's a question of a team being outmatched in size and talent at this point.
And it happens, as we pointed
sure.
out. Bob DeMarco again, 1990, 1-8.
Shanley on the carry. Doesn't seem to matter who's there with the ball. That wishbone still functions well. 1:20 remaining. 1st down for the Spartans.
All right, now we got a new quarterback. This is Brian Brady.
Number 3. Brady's 5'11", 160-pound junior.
Exactly. A good wrestler, by the way.
Delay a game, Madison Central.
Didn't bother to throw the flag.
And we wind down. We have now inside of 50 seconds. Again, East Brunswick travels next week to Monroe.
That will be a 1 p.m. game, afternoon game.
I think they just changed the time.
Okay, Phil.
Down below.
And as they play out the last few seconds, we will not be with you next week, but we will be here the following week when East Brunswick takes on the Perth Amboy Panthers in a Saturday afternoon game.
And the Panthers having, as we mentioned, some troubles of their own, opening up against Madison Central. Excuse me, yes, against Madison Central. I believe they were also victimized. Don't know who. They lost to another team and then playing Sayreville tonight.
And it should do it. And so the game comes to an end here at J. Doyle Field. The Bears on the downside of the scoreboard. They are the losers, 34-12 to Madison Central.
And move to 0-3 and going to be looking for that first win against Monroe Township. Honestly, guys, I think they should do it. Monroe Township having a lot more problems than even East Brunswick. Does not have the ability to put points on the board. And I think Monroe is the right team to play at this stage of the season.
So Madison Central improves to 2-1. East Brunswick 0-3. Again, East Brunswick on the road next week and then home the following week here, a Saturday afternoon game against Perth Amboy. So for Phil Hill and Jim Allinder and everyone associated with Channel 8, I'm John Meggiolaro saying thanks for being with us.